So, push. Hey.
It was fun.
Good. I did most of my training as a child in Japan, and when we did Kangeiko, it was really basic, but a lot of repetition, and it kind of went for all that same kind of mantra. So let's start out with a little bit of warm up. All right. First one is the walking quad stretch, and you're gonna grab your heel and just stretch the quad, step forward, stretch the quad, step forward, stretch the quad. Let's do about 8 of those. There we are. Make sure the quad or the front of the leg is stretching, not anywhere else. Good. Now, next is you're going to bring your knee to your chest and grab it. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. Hip circles, just kind of loosen up a little bit. So what we're going to do next is a squat. Grab the toes and you're going to straighten your legs out like a stand. If you can't go all the way down, do the best you can. But try to honestly work on that. So here we go, squat down, grab the toes, straighten the legs, and back down. Grab the toes, straighten the legs, down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and squat down. Hands between the knees, rock you back and forth a little bit. Awesome. Hands on the ground, feet apart. We're going to do some lateral glides. So bend the right knee, keep the left leg straight, and then just shift over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Awesome. Work your feet back together. Hands on the hips. Lean back. Rock a little bit. Awesome. The next warm-up exercise we're going to do is it's called a spider lunge. You're going to basically deep front stance, heel, rear heel up, hands in between the legs. And we're going to reach up with the inner hand, then switch with the outer hand. And then one more time. And opposite. 1, 2. Awesome. Stand up and switch. One. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8. Good. Up. Awesome. Gosh. Hey, little jump. And if you could skip, just skip in place. Awesome. Good job, guys. A little warmed up. Trying to focus on the hips today, okay? Ayo. Left hand out. Shizentai. Chokuzuki straight punch. Each. Knee. Thumb. Shi. Go. Rook. Teach. Ouch. Ku. Ju. A little bit quicker. Each. Knee. Thumb. Shi. Go. Rook. Teach. Ouch. Ku. Ju. All right, a little bit quicker. Guys, remember, the goal today is to drive the technique with the hips. So we don't want to see this action where we're rocking the opposite forward towards a punch. We want to drive the hip and drive the punch same side. So slight rotation forward. Even if your belt knot's pointing towards your opposite knee is a little bit nice. Yeah. There we go. Each knee, thumb, chi, go, rook, teach, hach, ku, ju. I relax. Okay, left leg forward. Left leg forward, front stance downward block. Gyakuzuki out, reverse punch. Shomen. Kizamizuki, hamni. Knee. Gyaku. Sam, zamini. Shi. Go. Roke. Seat. Hot. Ku. Ju. Right, one count. Each. Knee. Thumb. Shi. Go. Roke. Seach. Hach. Ku. Ju. Good. All right, Kizamizuki out. All right, ready? One count, reverse punch, Kizamizuki. Right, each. Knee. Thumb. Shi. Go. Roke. Seach. Hach. Ku. Ju. Very good. All right, switch legs. Left hand out, reverse punch. Very good. Ready? One count, jab, or Kizamizuki each. Second count, reverse punch, knee. Sam. Shi. One punch, one count, please. Go. Roku. Seach. Hach. Ku. Ju. Very good. All right, so in our dojo, when we do something slow, it's deliberate and it's focusing on coordination and proper technique. No speed or power. Refine the movement, make sure everything's correct. A little bit quicker now, one count. It's going to be jab, reverse punch, Kizamizuki. Ready? Ich. Knee. Thumb. Shi. Go. Roke. Seach. Hach. Ku. Ju. Very good. All right. Reverse jab Kizamizuki out, please. All right, so one count now, reverse punch Kizamizuki. Ready? Ich. Knee. Thumb. Shi. Go. Roke. Seach. Hach. Ku. Ju. Good. All right, so what I'm seeing a lot of people do is good rotation, good hip rotation back and forth. But what I'm also seeing is that when you do the jab, you guys are pulling your weight back and away from the technique. The idea is in this situation that we're driving our hip forward into the punch, not just making the shape open. Does that make sense? So let's try something now. A little bit different. First count, you're going to step out with left foot to like half size zenkutsu. So about like this, yeah? But you're going to do left foot forward, left hand kizamizuki, hamni position or open hip. All right, second count, you're going to fall into the full front stance, yakuzuki shomen. And then back. So we'll do left leg only. All right, here we go, ready? Each, knee, back. Some, chi, back. Go, roke, back. Siege, touch, back. Good, back. Hey, again, a little bit smoother now. Instead of being 1, 2, let's do one slow and smooth technique. So ready to go. Each and back. Knee, back. Some, she, go, roke, siege, hot, good, good. Good. All right, 10 more. Speed and power. Each. Knee. Some. Sheet. Go. Go. Seat. Touch. Hip. Jib. I good. Switch feet. Right leg forward. So it'll be right leg half stance. All right, kizamizuki open hip. Each. Knee shift full stance reverse punch. And back. Each. Knee. Back. Some. She. Back. Go. Roke. Back. Siege. Hot. Back. Good. Jid. Awesome. All right. Let's kind of talk about it. In this technique, even though the jab is first, you're still driving it with the rear leg. So don't do half step and already have the rear leg straight and kind of this way. When you get that half step, keep that rear leg bent and have that feeling of you can still drive your weight forward into the reverse punch. Try not to fall forward and keep the right leg or the driving leg straight. When you get to the driving point of the reverse punch here, try not to get to this point and go up and over. Keep that knee pointing in the direction you want, and as you drive, that position stays the same, and you move your body forward. Does that make sense? So where your knee points is the direction of the movement. So don't allow your knee from this position to stand up. Keep it driving forward. Keep that ankle flexed. All right, here we go. Look, maybe 10 more now. All right, ready? Same thing. We're going to count one punch, one count. Ready? Each. So it'll be right leg out. I'm sorry. Right leg out. And then knee. Reverse punch back. I'm sorry. My bad. I don't know my left. Right. Some. Sheet. Back. Go. Roke. Back. Siege. Hutch. Back. Ku. Ju. Back. All right. we're very fortunate to train with Steve Ubel a lot. And one of the things he always harps is slow training. And the reason why you want to slow train is that if you're changing a motor pattern, you have to be deliberate and conscious of what you're doing. Be careful of falling back into the old habit, just throwing the punches there and kind of doing your thing, right? Be aware of what your lower body is doing. Be focused on those things so that you can now micromanage the movement. So what I'm seeing a lot of is like, I count, it's jab, reverse punch. And I just see people going, boom, they're doing that same thing they're doing all the time, right? But are you truly driving the technique with the correct hip? Are you truly using the correct motor skills or muscle groups to drive the technique? If we're going to talk about a basic technique, our principle, we need to be at a high level of it. It doesn't go to say that there are other ways of doing things, but when you practice a basic principle, there should be an accuracy and a standard met. And by that, I mean this, and this is not being disrespectful. When we do ham knee, our hips have to be level, our rear knee has to be bent so that we have drive into another technique. If we do ham knee and our leg is straight, we have already given up the creation of power and the drive for the hips, and our hips are now not level. Very basic techniques require high level of accuracy. If any of you guys have tested with Teki Shodan, you would know that in Teki Shodan, the kata is short, it's relatively simple, you know, there's not a lot of athleticism there, but for some odd reason, it's one of the harder katas to get correct. And that's because the movements are small, they're very basic, and it takes a lot more precision and being critical of yourself, right? Kind of sort of doesn't work in Teki Shodan. It's either on or off, right? And that's kind of what we have to be when we're doing these basic principles. It cannot be kind of sort of, it has to be exact. So here we go. We're going to do right leg again. We're going to do one count. That one count is 1, 2, back at a higher level. Try to get the reverse punch to finish with the extension of the rear knee. So elbow extension and knee extension should end at the same time. All right, ready? Each. Boom, boom. Back. Knee. Back. Some. Back. She. Back. Go. Back. Rocket. Back. Teach. Back. Hot. Back. Good. Back. Good. Hey, question. And no, you know, obviously can't answer, but here we go. What's more important, the jab or the reverse punch? Because you got to think about it. If you're emphasizing the reverse punch, then why throw the jab? All techniques should have the same killing feel and the same energy, right? And all hip positions should have the same kind of feel to it. There shouldn't be a tap and then a ta-tan kind of feeling, like a ta-ta, but it should be bam, bam. Like both should have that same feeling. So be careful of falling into that trap of like, oh, it's just a jab, right? Drive with the proper technique, drive with the correct legs, and then make both work. I found in my own personal experiences that my jab tends to land better and more effective than my reverse punch. Right? Because I don't shortchange it. I want to make sure everything is hard, right? So here we go. 10 more on this right leg. Let's be a little bit quicker now.
Jeremiah Sensei, can I just ask a question, please?
Yes.
It's Andy from HDKI up at Sunderland in the UK. Basically, when you're stepping forward with the Gazama, are you keeping all your weight, like the compression and connection to the floor, in your rear leg
Absolutely.
And then so that then when you step in, you're driving that way rather than landing.
Yeah, yeah. So the first jab, that rear leg's compressed, but it's still driving the technique. So I'm not just kind of getting this shape here. I'm still driving the hip. I'm still creating this energy through this leg and still create the same power. It's just that the leg is doing more of the drive and the reverse punch, but it doesn't necessarily make the jab weaker.
Yes.
That's the thing about karate, right? We always think that big movement equals large power, and in reality, it only takes going back to the Teki Shodan. There's only a certain degree of rotation necessary to create the power for the technique, correct? And if that's the truth, when we go from Shizentai to that first move, it should only take a small amount of rotation to create that. It should only take so much drive off the rear leg to create that power. Boom. And then from there, yeah, it might be bigger, but is it stronger? I would necessarily argue against that. So does that make sense, Mr. Andy?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Here we go. So right leg forward, right hand jab, left hand reverse punch. One smooth technique, maybe a little bit quicker. All right, ready? Each. Knee. Thumb. Chi. Go. Okay. Siege. Hart. Ku. Ju. Anybody, if I were to say kime in motion, would you understand what I meant by that? That your ability to create a kime point or while you're moving is very, it's a thing, right? Try not to feel like you have to stop in this position, then drive into this position. As you do it as one, it should just jab, drive. So maybe smooth it out and don't think of it as 1-2, but maybe as a smooth one. Just do that again. Let's go a little bit slower. All right, here we go. Each. Knee. Some. She. Go. Roku. Siege. Hach. Ku. Ju. All right, good. All right, so the next one is literally the same exact thing, but you're going to step backwards. So the idea is that you're jabbing and then reverse punching. So the jab would be here, the reverse punch is there. So now the big movement is with the jab and the smaller drive is with the reverse punch. Here we go. So let's do left leg forward. All right, each 1, 2, and back. Knee 1, 2. Some. She. Go. Okay. Siege. Arch. Ku. Ju. All right, so I personally find that harder to create power with the jab. And then time it well so I could drive with the rear leg for the reverse punch. So just for me, being balanced, be able to go forward, left, right, and have that same control is really important. And again, with basic principles, we should really try to hone on those things, in my own personal opinion. I switch legs. All right, so now moving back with your left foot. All right, ready? Each left back. Knee. Some. Shi, go, ok, sich, hach, ku, ju. Right. So Andy said something really cool. He said, you're waiting or compressing the rear leg to drive the techniques as we went forward. So it's the same idea. When you're moving backwards, you'll wait or drive the lead leg because you're going backwards. That makes sense. So as you're stepping back, it's not the idea that I'm throwing my leg back. It's the idea that I'm compressing the front leg, and that is going to be able to give me the rotation. And at the very end, the rear leg does a small drive for the reverse punch. So when we work principles of karate, we should be balanced in our approach, not only left, right, but front, back. And we should be able to take the principle and add it to weird, like uncommon things. Yeah. So, and right now we're just talking about coordination and the simple coordination. We're going to step it up just a little bit now. We're going to go from Sensei. Right hand forward. Right. Left hand nage. Each. A knee. Left hand soto. Sam. Left hand uchi. Shi. Left hand geranbarai. Make sure that the parry is there every time. And then right hand gyakuzi jodan. Ready? Each. Should be hips rotated, knee, hips square, and then some hips rotated, shi, hips square, go, hips rotated, rok, hips square, rok, sich, hips sideways, gyakuski, hips square. So we're going to break it down to 2 count per block. Ready? Each, knee, some, shi, go, rok, sich, Hart. Ich, ni, sam, shi, go, rok, sich, hart. Okay. You guys understand the coordination? Thumbs up. Yeah? All right. All right, here we go. Ready? 1 count. Ich, ni, sam, shi, go. 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 Good. All right, 1 count, all of it. Ready? Ich, ni, sam, shi. All right, how many of y'all are starting to feel like you're emphasizing the block and kind of just throwing the hand out for the prep? So let's do this. You're going to emphasize that the preparatory hand or the parry hand and just relax the block. So we'll start here. Ready? Each. Knee. I messed up. Some. G. Go. Hey, switch hands. Right hand punching. Left hand punching, my bad. Hey, rising block. Each. Knee. Sam. Shi. Go. Rok. Sich. Hart. Ich. Ni. Sam. Shi. Go. Rok. Sich. Hart. Ich. Ni. Sam. Shi. Go. Rok. Sich. Hart. Hey, one count for the block. Ready? Ich, ni, sam, chi, go. Ich, ni, sam, chi, go. Ich, ni, sam, chi, go. Hey, one count. Ready? All the way through. Ich, ni, sam, chi, go. Good. Let's talk about it. So, how was the coordination, guys? Like, did you make it all the time? Nah. All right. The first step to any kind of technique and understanding or the ability to do it is being able to be coordinated to do it. And that just literally means hands in the right place at the right time within the technique, right? Second level of it should be synchronization. Synchronization means if I'm using my hip is in time, is finishing with the technique that I'm doing. My hip stops on the parry and stops on the block. My rotation or the creation of power is there. And that's the second level of working on a principle. Coordination is first, kind of getting it right. Second one, synchronization is getting it right at the right time. And then third one, a little bit higher, is correct drive. In this case, when we're talking about hip driving with the technique, that'll be the driving side of the technique's knee being extended. Even in Shizentai, when I do a rising block, my hand, this knee is bent. When I go to the next move, my knee straightens and I push into the parry. Then I rotate back and this knee is bent. There's this bend and extension, even in a Shizentai, that kind of has to be there. First is coordination, second is synchronization, third one is creation of power. When you get all three of those together, your technique will have this clean and precise feeling, right? That sharpness of the things. And that's kind of where I feel like at a basic level, we should work on our principles to achieve that, right? And that, to me, is where our karate is the longer we train. I don't ever feel like I'm getting more advanced. I feel like I'm getting more basic. Like I work on the most basic things and I just try to get them better and better. I mean, let's be real. I didn't feel like I had a good back stance until I was sandan. I didn't feel like my hip rotation was decent until sandan. I always felt like there was something out of there. There was something I could work on. So those to me is where karate should move forward to, is not this idea that I could do 3-foot jumping front kicks or whatever. I mean, you're never going to see me jump, right? I'm going to work on the small stuff and I'm going to try to get better at that. And so my classes tend to be that way. Yes? Huh? Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a water break real quick, close. More reps. I have a tendency to speak really quickly and sometimes mumble. If I do that, just like throw your hand up, be like, "Hey, man, let me know." That's just the way I am. I get excited. I'm passionate about karate, and I kind of get an adrenaline drop, and I need to control myself a little better.
You're clear as a bell. You're clear as a bell.
What's that?
I said it's clear as a bell. I can understand you perfectly.
Awesome. Thank you. Is that Mr. Matt Payne? Is that who was saying that? Hey, good. Guys ready? Hey, same drill, but now in Shizentai. I'm sorry, in Zenkutsu. So left leg forward. All right, reverse punch out, Jodan. Ready? Ich, age, soto, uchi, geran, yakuzi. Knee. Sam. Shi. Go. Ok. Sich. Hutch. Hit. J. Ich. Ni. Sam. Shi. Go. Guys, don't forget, put emphasis when you're in stance that the lead leg is the structure of the movement. Make sure that it stays in place and it's engaged. Don't allow that lead leg and Zenkutsudachi to be loose or uncontrolled. That makes sense? That is the edge that you're bouncing, or the wall you're bouncing a ball off of. All right, so that has to be sturdy and it has to be solid. The moment you allow that lead leg to roll out one way or the other, your hips are out of position and you're limited in rotation and creation of power. So those things are important beyond the fact that they look good. They play a vital role in how much power you can create with hip rotation and lead leg drive, or rear leg drive. All right, switch legs. All right, ready? Back ski out. Each. Knee. Sam. Ah. She. Go. Okay. Sich. Hutch. Hit. Jit. Each. Neat. Sam. She. Go. I get it, yummy. So we talked about, and we worked on some really basic ideas and kind of started elaborating a little bit. I feel like this block combo is basic in idea, but a little bit more advanced in coordination and timing and synchronization. It definitely tests all aspects of your stance, creation of power, and timing of the technique. And I love that about this drill. I wish I could say I created, but I didn't. I stole it from Rick Houghton. We're lucky. He lives about 2 hours away from us, so we get to train with him all the time. But he comes up some really gems, big gems sometimes, and I love this one. I steal it from him all the time. But, hey, this last part, this last little group I want to work on is literally back fist, down block, same hand. Back fist, down block, same hand. And what I want is when the back fist happens, you're going to drive with the lead hip. When you go from here and you go to down block, you're just going to drive with the rear hip. That makes sense? So it's ready. 1, 2. Then the other side. 1, 2. Right. 1, 2, 1, 2. Try your best not to go boom and drive with the opposite hip when you're in this position. Try to figure out how to drive in open hip position without over rotating, right? So it's just a degree of rotation we're talking from down block from one side to back fist the other side. Learn to limit that rotation. And then 2's down, right? All right, 1 count, ready? Down block here. Left leg, left hand down, reverse, down block. Each right hand, uraken, knee, ooh. Sam, open, close. Shi, open, close. Go, open, close. Okay. Sich. Hat. Ke. Je. Ah. I wish I was perfect, but I'm not. Oh, so that idea is that we're working on what feels natural. For me, back uraken feels so natural to drive with the rear hip, and down block feels so natural to drive with the lead hip. So I just switched the roles. So again, 1 count. Let's just do left hand only. Ready? Each. 1, 2. Knee. Sam. Shi. Go. Roke. Seat. Touch. Good. 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 Right hand. Each. Knee. Sam. Shi. Go. Roke. Seat. Touch. Good. Good. I relax. Coordination down, guys? Yeah? All right, kind of. Let's make it fun. All right. Shift, half stance, open hip, back fist. Full stance, front stance, closed hip or shomen, get on belay. And then back up. Ready? Each. 1, 2. Back. Knee. 1, 2. Back. Sam. 1, 2. Shi. Go. Rock. Seat. Hot. Good. Good. Hey, other side. Eat. Knee. Sam. Shi. Go. Rock. Seat. Hot. Good. Good. All right, good. All right, here we go. Each half full. Mawate, knee. Shomen on the back fist. Knee on the down block. Okay. Yep, you're going to switch it for one side. So the first side is open hip, closed hip. When you do the mawate, you're going to do closed hip, open hip. And then back up. Okay. Knee. Sam. Shi. Go. Okay. Looks like the coordination's all right, but the synchronization's off, right? So how to be in sync. Remember, hip, hand, hip, hand, hip and hand, and then hip and hand. Try to hit those positions in time with the hand or fist technique. Right? Sich. Hart. Good. 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 All right, so that's key home for today. Any questions? Anything? No? All right. I'd like to go through Teki Shodan. And I'm not going to be giving you a lot of pointers. I'm just going to want you to go through it. And I want you to think about the hip position on all techniques, yeah? And then be aware or be conscious of the limitation of rotation, because the horse stance itself kind of limits how far you're going to go, right? You don't want to lose your structure. You don't want to lose your creation of power. So, hey, here we go. For those that don't know Teki Shodan, Heian Sandan's another good one for hip. So if you don't know Teki Shodan, do Heian Sandan. Heian Sandan, the hip action is a lot larger. But you know, the big turn and the small turn after the first ki, the subtle shifts from the stomps on the way back, those are all hip-centric ideas, and you know, time them a little bit different in the sense of you don't want to look like a sumo going down the floor. You want to kind of have a feeling of from horse stance up, down, and pivot, those kind of things. But those are good to Teki. Go ahead and let's do Teki. All right, so Kishiai. Ayoi. Huh? Okay. All right, ready? And just slowly go through. All right, Hajime. All right, for those that did Teki, this move here, that move there, we do it a little bit different than everybody else. It's 3 points of kime within the one move. And there's 3 different hip positions for that. You're driving with the right, driving with the left, drive with the right. So there's small and incremental there. And then you perform it as one. So I know if you're in different groups and do it differently, definitely follow your soloist. But if you're playing around with the kata and you just kind of want to work on ideas, try it that way. Try it. So add a hip movement to every little thing. Even boom, boom. Here, you're driving with your left elbow. When you do the stack, center up. Don't just stay here and go here and then big rotation. Center up, drive. Use the opportunity in these small different moves to create small different hip actions. Because the more controlled you are in your rotations, the more it can apply to different things. Katas are tools. They are more than just things you test for your belts or things you want to figure out what goes on. They are tools to promote and hone your ideas and principles. And one of those principles in Teki, to me, is hip action. You definitely want to be synchronized in the movement, especially this movement here. You don't want to have your hip doing something else than your arms are. You'll lose the feeling and the drive for the technique if your hip is out of sync with your body. You want to make sure that hip drives, hip drives, hip drives. It, especially now, if you take it another level and look at it from an application standpoint, it's a close quarter kata. There's not a lot of room for you to create power by using your legs or movement. You kind of have to be able to create power within a small movement and range. The better synchronized you are, the better the creative power is, the more impact force you can create. Hey, one more time. I'm not going to break the car. I'm just going to take a couple moves and say, think about these things. Let's do it one more time, and then we'll talk about Sandan. Won't you switch? Yeah. There we go. Hey, ready? Yo, and begin. For those of you doing hand Sandan, the second and third move, some people talk about it's just this kind of rocking forth back and thing, but I like to kind of add a slight hip to the uchi or the uprising block. It's again something to do to create a better feeling of hip rotation. And these are just practices to highlight hip rotation. It is not the way to perform them per se. It's just tools to highlight the principles you work on. Secondly, in the big rotation from the pressing block spear hand, when you do this move, don't think of it as like 180, then a step 180. So strong rotation from the left hip and right hip, turning the foot in, bring the feet together, step out, rotate out. Streamline the movement so it doesn't look like you're kind of falling around. When you're able to use your hips and all the rotations in hand Sandan, everything becomes a lot smoother, it becomes easier to time, and you're in control, right? You want to definitely always have that feeling of, as a higher rank, in control of your movements, not kind of on the edge of falling over. And then the last correction for hand Sandan is the stomps. We do up, out, and at the very end, hip rotate into horse stance. Up, out, very end, hip rotation into horse stance. So it's boom. It is not, we don't do it this way, where we're just rotating through. We always try to streamline and make everything we do efficient. It's safer movement, and it's more effective. That is my class for today. Focused on hip driving the technique and then trying to go beyond what's basic. I did a lot of basic movement, jab, reverse punch. I did a lot of just like stuff we've done a million times over again. I try to add points of emphasis that are not common. And I also try to add the subtleties of like posture, hip position, and leg drive. The second combo with the blocks, man, it's a great combo to do like synchronization. If you could get everything moving at the right time with that combo, it just feels amazing. It's easy in front stance. Add at the after the Gyakuzuki, you add a rotation. Bam, 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 bam. Add a rotation. Boom. And just use that additional movement to help you with rotation, help you do the turns. And then the back fist down block thing is I wanted to show you guys that having a deeper understanding of what you can do with your hips, then applying them to different unconventional techniques in awkward positions. If you're able to do it, it shows that you have a a decent level of control and ability and understanding of the principle. And most of you know in sparring or any kind of application, you never find yourself in the most perfect position. You never find yourself in a perfect front stance or legs everywhere. And you have to somehow create power in small windows and small spaces. And I believe it's when you have a high understanding and a solid foundation in these basic principles, you could do things like that. So that's my class. Thank you very much. Arigato. Yay.
Thank you
Bye.
very much. Thank you very much.